Right now, there's an app buried somewhere on your phone that could genuinely change the next 20 years of your life. You probably haven't opened it. Your dad definitely didn't have one. Your grandfather didn't even have a checking account most people trusted. But here's the assumption almost everyone carries around without question, that real wealth takes 30 years, a corner office, and a lot of gray hair. That's not quite right. If you actually believe that, you've already decided your 20s don't count and your 30s are just practice. The truth is something most wealthy people figured out before they turned 25, and almost nobody talks about it until it's too late for you to use it. Let's start with time, because time is the reason any of this was possible. Compound growth only needs one raw material, not luck, not a rich uncle, not a finance degree. Time. Money that sits and grows for 40 years behaves completely differently than money that sits and grows for 10. The earlier dollar isn't worth more. It's worth exponentially more. Most people hear that and nod along. Then they go do nothing about it for another decade. Think about this. If wealth really just needed time, age should be the biggest predictor of who gets rich. But it's not. Behavior is. And that gap between knowing and doing starts way earlier than most people realize. I remember standing at a school career fair with a laminated worksheet in my hand. The prompt said, write down your dream job and your dream salary. I wrote down, own a business, and a number that made the guidance counselor actually laugh out loud. She leaned over and said I should pick something more realistic, something stable, not cruel, not even mean, just automatic. Like she'd said it to 100 kids before me. I said, okay. I nodded. Then I went home and decided she was wrong. That moment sounds small. It wasn't, because the second you accept someone else's ceiling as your own, you stop building. You just start managing expectations. And a whole system is built to hand you that ceiling early, wrap it in kindness, and call it good advice. But here's what's fascinating. The people who actually build wealth young usually aren't smarter. They're just harder to talk out of things. And here's the part nobody talks about. The first real risk most wealthy people take isn't a stock. It's quitting something safe. I worked a coffee shop job at 19 that I actually loved until a new manager decided I was his personal punching bag. Double shifts with no warning, public call-outs over nothing. I remember sitting in my car in the parking lot one night, just staring at the steering wheel, running numbers in my head. No mortgage, no kid, 20 years old with basically nothing to lose except comfort. So I quit. No backup plan, just a decision. Looking back, staying would have been the actual risk, not leaving. If you're young and your responsibilities are low, that's not a disadvantage. That's leverage. Use it before life fills up your risk tolerance with obligations. But that's only half the story. And honestly, what comes next is even stranger. Analysts at Fidelity spent years combing through every single trading day in the stock market going back to 1988. Thousands and thousands of days, and they found something brutal. Miss just the 5 best trading days out of all of them, and your long-term gains drop by close to 40%. Not from bad investments, from bad timing, from sitting out. Waiting for the right moment usually just means missing the moments that mattered. There's one more piece. Diversification. An older guy in my neighborhood used to host these ridiculous parties. Fireworks, catering, the whole thing. He'd made his money legitimately, a real business, but somewhere along the way he got pulled into a private investment group promising returns most people would call impossible. 30, 40% a year. He explained it to me once at his own party like it was simple math. I remember thinking it sounded like something that eventually stops being math and starts being a story you tell in court. 2 months later, the group collapsed. Because they were leveraged, the losses weren't just big. They were bigger than what anyone had actually put in. He lost the house those fireworks were launched from. What if it's not the stock market that wipes people out at all? What if it's the thing they were most confident about? The thing they never fully understood? Never invest in something you can't explain in one sentence. And never put everything you have behind one bet, no matter how good the math sounds at a party. There's one more piece, and it's the one people skip because it sounds boring. Income itself needs diversification, not just investments. One paycheck, one employer, one layoff email away from zero. That's not stability. That's just risk wearing a suit. The people who actually get free tend to be stacking things quietly in the background. A side project here, a small rental there, a tiny slice of dividends nobody notices until it adds up. Nothing dramatic on its own, but put 3 or 4 of those next to each other and one bad month can't take you out completely. So what killed the version of you that was supposed to build wealth at 25 instead of 45? Honestly, it wasn't one big thing. It was a guidance counselor's laugh. A stable job you were too scared to leave. A comfort zone dressed up as responsibility. A culture that quietly rewards you for staying small and calls it being realistic. But here's what we lost in the process. An entire generation learned how to survive and completely forgot how to compound. That app on your phone is still just sitting there. Same one from the beginning, except now it's not really about the app. It's about whether you're going to keep waiting for someone to tell you it's the right time, or whether you already know the answer and just haven't admitted it yet.